And now we talk oil. We talk about oil and gas. How can African countries and societies get the most value from their resources? And what exactly can African leaders do to put their countries on a sustainable and profitable path? Oil has been often described by some as a curse on the continent, with many countries producing engulfed in economic and political turmoil. That contradicts, it somewhat contradicts the expectation of prosperity for these countries. Bridget.
It is true, Jerry, that while the oil and gas industry on the continent faces challenges such as price volatility, infrastructure problems, and political instability at times, the sector still sees real opportunities for economic growth, thanks in particular to a very significant demographic boom, urbanization, and the emergence of a middle class.
Ayuk is the executive chairman of the African Energy Chamber and CEO of the Centurion Law Group. He spoke with our correspondent in an interview in Cape Town, South Africa. Ayuk also is the author of the book, The Future of Africa's Energy. NJ said in that interview, he spoke about, first off, about the current challenges that the African oil and gas sector faces. Let's take a listen.
Where most investors have always looked at and say, are my contracts going to be respected? Are we going to uphold to what we did? You know, contracts, let's forget lawyers and how they think about contracts, but contract is just an agreement between you and me where our word is our bond. And investors want that, and countries want that. Challenges had come in with issues of stability. We still don't have an Africa that is stable. So we have to understand that if we encourage stability, we are going to have more investment.
How is this renewed confidence in the oil and gas industry beneficial for Africa?
Oil industry has changed the world. It has changed Africa. More jobs are being created in Africa from oil and gas industry. More people have been educated because of oil and gas. More infrastructure has been created in Africa because of oil and gas. You've had more people move from poverty to middle class because of the oil and gas industry. The oil companies sometimes have not lived up to their true meaning or their true purpose in there. But it's time for us Africans to say, we want you to have contracts and agreements and operate in a way that is fair, just, and equitable. But we cannot forget what this industry has meant. Sometimes we have to hold ourselves to blame sometimes for some of the ills of the industry.
Also, Ayuk talked about why the global instability has been a major problem affecting the oil and gas industry.
It's a big problem. I tell you why. Energy security, when you have shortages like what you're having right now in Iran, in Venezuela, in Libya, in Saudi Arabia, it's not good. It's not just about oil, but it's something which we all have to pay attention, because when that happens, you know what happens? The price at the pump goes up because there's shortages. We cannot have the right kind of products to feed into manufacturing plants or to feed into refineries. So we have to be careful. And beyond that, we don't want a crisis. We don't want wars. It is not good. And I think that this industry can be a strong force for good, where we can work together, knowing that our resources are at stake.
How do internal conflicts affect the sector?
We have to have new ways of sharing oil revenue. In Nigeria, for example, you have issues in the Niger Delta. In Cameroon, for example, in the Anglophone area, you have issues on people feeling disenfranchised, people feeling not treated well, and you having issues with how our wealth is structured. The beauty about this book is that we lay out clear solutions for that. It's not going to be where you look at a solution where you say, go out there and do a handout of everybody with some $100 a person or $1,000 a person. But think about it. Have a futuristic approach. That's why this book is about the future. We have to start looking at how do we create a community trust which invests in education, invests in healthcare, invests in key issues that